All right, so this is a quick video because you have a major assignment due this Friday. You actually have assignment number 6, parts 1 and 2, but I'm only going to talk about part 1 because part 1 is worth 100 points. This is an opportunity for you to ensure the grade that you want, or if you've kind of fallen off turning in assignments, even if you didn't turn in the rough draft, this is something that is necessary for you to get back on track because this is one of 3 major, heavily point totaled assignments that will really determine your grade. So in the interest of making sure that everyone has the best opportunity, what are some things that you could think about as you're working on your revision this week? Well, number 1, what I would recommend, if you haven't looked at your essay in a while, take a look. It is now time to revise it, to see it again, to literally see again with your eyes. So if you've taken a break from it, that's actually a good thing. Now walk back to it, take a look at it, and as you read it, and I would recommend maybe printing it out, having a pen or pencil handy, or at least reading it out loud to yourself. That way you can catch some of the things that your mind, when you read something quickly, kind of plug some words in that could help you catch some things that you would normally miss. But revisit it. What could you revisit it with? Well, give it a read on your own first. You're in charge of the revision, so what do you see? What do you notice as you're going through it? That would be helpful. Take a look in assignment number 3 of the module at the sample rhetorical analysis. Do I have a rhetorical analysis? Is it consistently analyzing the rhetoric, or am I just explaining what argument the writer is making? Am I summarizing, or am I analyzing? So look at my comments, look at your self-review. So look through the criteria, make sure that if you identified something for a change, that you made that change, that you're, or if you haven't, start that process. Okay, and then you can look at the announcements. So if I go to the announcements here, I can see one titled Titles, Engaging Openers, and Thesis Statements. Am I looking at your title? Absolutely. Am I looking at your opener? Absolutely. Am I looking at your thesis statement? Yes. Where's somewhere else you can look for an example of a rhetorical analysis thesis statement? The Google Slides for the Nancy Mayers disability essay. Where's that? Assignment number 1 module. So you can go back and look at that. But if you're looking at the announcement for titles, engaging openers, and thesis statements, I have a file in there. You can click on it. It's examples, 2 examples of title, engaging opener for rhetorical analysis, each one. So you can kind of look it over and see, what are some things that I could do? Also, I have the suggestion in there that if you often have been dinged by an instructor/teacher for having a weak introduction, it's probably because you think because you read an introduction first, I have to necessarily write an introduction first. That is not true. Think about it. Your introduction's probably weak, especially compared to your conclusion, because you didn't really know what you were going to say yet. You wrote it, then you figured out what you wanted to say, and that's why your conclusion is strong, but you never went back and fixed your introduction. So a good way to get around that is maybe think about your introduction the way that you have it now. Just delete it if you don't feel like it's strong. Or if I critiqued it and said it's missing some key elements, delete it. Start over. Reread the content of your essay, rewrite it. Look at the examples that I provide and see if you can come up with a better introduction. That would benefit you in the long run. That would be a good revision strategy to take. All right, going back out to the rest of the announcements. I've commented on all rhetorical analysis drafts. If you click on that, that's the title of the announcement. I give you an example of Ehrenreich, who is one of the writers we've been looking at. It's Is It Now a Crime to Be Poor? And then I walk you through a short rhetorical analysis, just giving you some examples how you can talk in a rhetorical analysis. What moves something from summary to analysis? Take a look at that, especially if what you turned in doesn't really fit a rhetorical analysis. So I give you the article and then I give you the rundown. How do you talk about loaded words, emotional appeals? How do you talk about logical appeals? How do you work in some of the sophisticated and stylish 30 from the rhetorical technique, talking about audience and purpose? It's all here. So all the tools that you need are right here in the course. The announcements, the modules, these videos, all meant to help you as you work your way through. And then let me take a look at one more. That's it. Okay. So as you're working through, remember, raise your hand by emailing me if you have any questions or concerns, but it is imperative that you turn in a draft, and most important, turn in a draft that is your work. So when we talk about style, when we talk about voice, it is your voice, it is your writing that is important here, your individual perspective. That is what the college, that's what the university wants you to achieve in this class, not whether you can put the right prompt into ChatGPT and get something out in seconds. It's whether you are able to process information. Can you become a better writer? So as long as you commit to that process and you turn your work in on time, all the tools are here for you to be successful. So again, make sure it's your own work. I've got everything you need to be successful on this 100-point assignment. Don't forget to do part 2, which is the Pamela Paul stuff, just to practice some of that rhetorical analysis as we close this up before we move on to the argumentative research essay. And reach out. I am here. All you have to do is send me an email and I will respond. So if you're working through your draft and you come across something that you're not sure about, be proactive and email me ahead of time and I'll be able to get back to you. And that is as close as we can get in an asynchronous online class to some classroom interaction where you would be there in the room and struggling on something and could raise your hand to call me over and get that one-on-one feedback. All right. So I look forward to reading your final rhetorical analysis essays. And let's make it a positive by getting it turned in on time, as polished as possible, and maximizing the points that you earn.